tournament arc. It's like kind of milk toast. There we go. Milk toast tournament arc. That's what I call it. Milk toast tournament arc. I mean, it's pretty good. I think it has good moments. It is fun seeing, the other powers. Like Mushroom Girl. She has, of course, like spores kind of growing inside your lungs, right? It's a very heroic power. It's like quite heroic. But that felt obvious, though, I think, right? If you have the mushroom power, you always have the spores or kind of, some kind of sleeping powder or something, right? You always have something like that, always, right? But anyway, that's kind of fun. But I don't want to negative here, because I love my academia, right? I have my, milk post over there and so on. I have a lot of academia stuff. But I hope to have better pacing, though. I think last week, I think it's very fair to say, right? Not just because this arc is like a training arc and it's important, but last episode, it was very clear to me that it went into that, shonen pacing, right? It went into like a Black Clover episode, and I'm talking about I'm talking about the beginning of Black Clover, right? Black Clover was like, let's have a filler episode 2, right? I think that has to be said, right? Like I said again here, I think it's very fair to say that last episode was like, recap, opening, recap, flashback, eye catcher, recap, right? So it's like a lot of recap, it's a lot of recap. Like, I think the obvious issue is that if you have an eye catcher and then you have a recap after that for like a minute or so, right? Then they're padding out it to the max, right? Like you do the Clover then and begin with the Clover. So negative start, but I felt that was a huge issue this episode. I just had more. I felt that was a really big issue this episode because it was so obvious how they were like, oh, they are really padding it out here. And I mean, as I said again, right, having seen, of course, every episode of One Piece, right, and so on, I know when to pick up when a shonen anime is like, let's pad out 2 minutes here of the storyline. Yeah, I know when a shonen anime is like, let's have a recap here. Before I watched here, I watched Naruto weekly, right, since the beginning. Okay, I was at Naruto like, when is that, 15, 16 years ago? I'm an old man. I was watching Naruto when they went into the Naruto 2-year fillers, okay? So I know when I'm talking about shonen anime. So I watched Naruto, and I stopped watching it, though, during the fillers. I'm not insane. I'm not insane, right? But I kept watching it for a few, probably actually, honestly, for like a few months, probably like 2-3 months, probably 10 episodes. I actually kept watching those 1 week filler episodes, and I was like, why? When is the filler ending? I was like, this is one episode of fillers. Some of them are really good, though. Like the episode when Rock Lee has his dojo. That's the best episode. Whatever they make. Or the episode when Naruto turns into Ino. And it's like be like a Futanari crosser thing. That's a cool fun episode too, yeah. But anyway, that's what My Academia. So 3, 2, 1, and go. But yeah, I know when an anime is like, let's fill out the shonen. I know my shonen fillers, but I kept watching Naruto for a bit there, and then I just gave up, of course. But I did actually probably at least for like 10 episodes, again weekly, And then I was like, this is a horrible Naruto manga, but yeah, it was crazy. But this is what I mean right now here. So the episode beginning here, right? Just recapping again, recapping. And what do I have sound in one ear for? Man går inte för one ear. It's kind of weird. I have sound in one ear, but it's like lower. No, it's like weird because it's so weird. Let's put my headphones. It's so weird. The new headphones too. God damn it. Because it's like I have higher sound on the right ear. I have some sound on the left ear. Maybe it's my hearing. Maybe I just turned deaf suddenly. Hopefully it's the headphones and not my ear. I'm gonna plug them in and put them out there. Because that sounds really weird to me. It's just really strange when you have, only sound in one ear, right? Yeah. Or I had sound left ear too, but it was like, this is way lower. But anyway, this episode here looks better right now. They did a little recap there in the beginning and then opening. But that recap was shorter than last week, right? But I think the key point is, are they gonna recap now after the opening, right? So now I have the opening here. And if they're doing like a 2-minute recap after the opening, then you know they're padding it out. Because that is bad padding always, right? Especially I think it's bad padding is for the watcher. Because if you do recap and then do the opening, right? Then you can skip over the opening and also then skipping over the recap and then get what you want, right? But if you do like recap, opening, recap, then it's much harder for you to skip to. You're like, should I skip to after the opening or should I wait a bit more after the opening, right? So that's tricky, man. So that how you do bad directing when doing this stuff. One pitch to do like always opening first and then they do a lot of recap afterwards. But the one pitch is like opening and it's always 3-4 minute recap or no recap, but if they recap. Okay, so now it's like, I guess there's no recap. Okay, good. This is new. Yeah, okay, good. She's helping him here, she's like, sorry for my super dangerous powers. Sorry for almost killing you, even if I'm a good character. But it's good. So this episode is a lot better pacing here immediately, because they have no recap after the opening, right? So now it feels more like an actual seasonal anime. So this is much better immediately from like a pacing padding thing, right? No like double recap thing. Much better. The goddamn super bias commenting. No, but this is how it should be. It's fine having like a half a mid recap, right? That's fine. But you don't want to see that. This is what you want to see, man. This is what you want to see, yeah. Super annoying Gabi X. Hey, my classmates won! You're the best! Yes! That's what you want to see, yeah. It's like, ugh. This guy. It's gonna be in the last fight, probably, right? Probably doing the Deku. Kendo's back to, teach him a lesson. Good. Who's gonna fight this episode then? So I'm guessing Deku is last. I guess Deku's gonna get Deku Shinso probably the last fighter, and also then of course there's that team that Shinso has. So we have Bakugo left. His team, Kashima. I think Deku's probably last, right? Save the big main character to last. Okay, now also Iida's leg, I guess. Might be Iida then. Meta getting burned is always good. Okay, that was like, it's a secret here. What's happening? You always wonder when no one ever picks up how close they are. Yeah, they're like, why does Alma want to talk to Deku alone? Yeah, they was like, They always have a weird relationship there with Sensei. Yeah, Ulrika getting jealous. Breaky! Okay, that was good though. Breaky! She gets so, yeah, I can dance up here. That was good, yeah. Breaky! That's the best flashback I've ever seen. Appears in the flashback and Red rocks him to, yeah. It's like, breaky! Oh, come on. Always the best flashback. But this always feels vicious, man. I feel like every student now at this time should be like, oh yeah, those two guys always go away and have like a secret meeting, always, yeah, like. But of course, the first time he actually did have his, I mean, Bakugo, he knows at least, but see, he's feeling on that already. It's like, what about me, All Might? I want to be a psychic. Come on, yeah, poor guy. But yeah, Bakugo of course knows. But I mean, I feel everyone should basically know by now, right? Because it's like it's so obvious that with the power thing. Whereas only Bakugo is intelligent enough to figure it out. I don't know. Is that what the anime is telling us? That only Bakugo has the brains enough to see this obvious pattern? Stop smiling at me. Man, this is clearly a true best friendship here in this anime. One for all. Oh, recovery girl. So Momo was like really injured because she was earlier. She was also in the kind of wheelchair thing. I think she kind of fused herself. Yeah, big recovery girl kiss there. Okay, here we go. That is cute though, the principal prison. Oh, here we go. It's Todoroki and Iida så. Which is Tetsu! I love his name, man. It's like Steel. it's the most I mean, almost every character anime has, you know, names that are like, you know, I am explosive and so on. But his name is like Steel. What is his power? His power is steel. Okay, yeah, good. And the sun is coming in my face now. The morning sun here is super bright now. But yeah, his name is like Steel. It's like, yeah, the most, you know, giving name ever. It's a Todoroki episode. I forgot to pick up a Todoroki figure. I got it's behind my other figures over there. Can't reach it. I was like, God damn it, man! I claim a Todoroki course over there. But yeah. Oh, it's a bit like, have you heard about Endeavor doing stuff? Oh, this might turn into an Endeavor episode then. If he's like, what about your dad? Poor Todoroki will have to live in his dad's shadows, his fiery shadow. Yeah, it's always like, what about your papa? What's he doing? Oh, flashbacking. Okay, what's flashbacking? Yeah, I mean, it's a cool scene, but like, yeah, let's flashback a bit. But that I feel is fine, honestly. I mean, that's fine. That was just a short flashback. I said, that is more flashback. Okay, fine, maybe. Okay, I don't know. I mean, this is what I mean in this season, right? Not really like that first part. But it's a little bit out of angle, I guess, what you saw earlier. That's interesting. It's a different angle, I suppose, but... But now it's an Endeavor time, though. We're gonna have an Endeavor, definitely. Certainly. Okay, so it's Iida. My niece had to do better, yeah. Shit, No, he's really sensitive to Nissan, of course. Or Nishan. Yeah. You should... Oh, so they have the same hero name? It's like, take my hero name, bro. It's very classic Japanese. It's like, his honor. I will carry on his name. Yeah, okay. It's like, I will carry on his... Of course. Iida hasn't had much screen time, I feel, since that. I was like, wait a minute, Iida's a character? No, I'm sorry, but man, I just remember that. Iida, I just figured out, man, yeah, there's been... I mean, Iida had a battle team course. Hasn't been much Iida since season 2, yeah. I mean, it's been there, of course, but not much like character. Nah. I mean, she's a cute Kobayashi dragon there. She looks like another anime character, definitely. I don't know what Steel is doing at all. I don't know what the plan is. It's like, I'm just gonna destroy everything. What is his plan? And they're like, Nande, why is he destroying all the metal for? It's like, he can absorb metal. It's probably Tetsu. It's a steel guy. It's a metal guy. He's like a metal head. Yeah. Name Steel. Quick Steel, yeah. His body is Steel. Come on, he's like the simplest guy in the whole anime. His name is Steel. His name is like Steel. His name is Steel. His power is Steel. He's like Steel. They're both speaking English. He doesn't mean any harm. What's happening? And you're also like, okay, we're doing English now. I was like, what? Man, this team is. I like how he's telling us that, yeah, like, I wonder if his teammates can't hear this. Then I guess let's. Man, that sounded lame. Let's go, Team 3. Yeah, it's like they don't even have like a name for our team. We're like Team 3. Yeah, it's like whoa. Yeah, we are the. Oh, here we go though. Endower versus another. This will be Endower. It's gonna be Endower, man. It's gonna be. It's a lot of Endower, you know. This is definitely gonna be more Endower. It's like so much Endower. Like let's go Endower, you know. I bet our money is gonna be Endower. I called it earlier. This is definitely be Endower thing. Yes, another like. I mean, yeah, here we go. See, I told you. Similar to Endeavor. But this guy's like kind of, yeah, maybe it's very similar to Iida, of course. Some kind of car transforms into like a, yeah, arms and legs wheel thing. Ooh. Yeah, I don't feel like the strongest bad guy. He's just like a speedster that can't. So now I like the kind of the Beak guy there. Reminds me of Beak in in Marvel. Yeah, Beak is a great character in Marvel. It's a guy in Marvel. His name is Beak, and his power is that he's like a guy with a bird beak. Like, yeah. But it's one of the best Marvel characters. He's a mutant, and his only power is that he has like a weird body and he has like a beak, but he can't fly, and he's completely useless in battle. It's like he has like no fighting ability whatsoever. He's like he just looks ugly. Like that's his whole power. Like it's his whole thing, man. That everyone just hates him because he looks really weird. He's a great character. In Exile and so on. And he got like 8 kids too, so he has like the one together against Smash Man. Yeah, he's trying to reconnect with his son, right? But see, this I mean is like this is lazy in the anime. Oh, let's do this flashback again. They had a flashback earlier, like they had like 5 minutes ago. Come on, anime. So they do have a little bit of that padding issue. Like, yeah, sure, let's do this exact same flashback again we just had, right? And yeah, the sun is going up and down crazy now. Oh yeah, sneezing because it's Japan, so they sneeze when thinking about it. Someone's thinking about him, you know. So I don't know what that's doing at all, though. Yeah, but I mean, I don't get what Tetsu's just going crazy. I mean, he's like, yeah, I don't know why Tetsu's just like, I'm gonna break all the steel here because I don't know. He's not the most intelligent character, but this just seems really stupid. Like, what's he doing? Yeah, like this doesn't seem. But yeah, Coach the Rocky is amazingly powerful as always. His power is always a super. Here we go. So Iida's gonna. What's Tetsu doing though? Oh, what? Here we go. What's his quirk? He can like melt stuff. Softening. Mudman. Okay. Okay. Yeah, he can like make it soft. So the ground is like it's gonna be So it's like snow. I turned into snow, I guess. It's like, yeah, I guess. Now it's snow or something. It's like, I can kick this soft ice. It's snow, yeah, it's like, yeah, that's... Oh, yeah, and then the pipe is all soft. Well, I guess that's why he's like an adaptive brain guy. He's very soft, adaptive, flexible thinking around. He's like, oh, I used to do that stuff. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Kind of gets powers, I guess. Yeah, he's a flexible guy. Yeah, it's spinning, right? Spirals, yeah, the spinning like... any part, man, guys, that includes this. Yeah, definitely, man. Any part can be spin. He's a crafty villain. Is he character? You damn villain! It's like, yeah, he just go into character. Everyone now is a villain for him, yeah. Here we go. What's her power? Finally, horns? Is that her power? Cute little English girl. Come on, she's like that. Gun. It's like horn cannon. This has big horns. Okay, so you can like control her horns, but you can control them, right? Yeah, like she can actually. Yeah, they don't just fly, right? They can, like a practice. They can control them. Yeah, give me some boost here. Oh, that was nice though. Nah, how's he doing? No, this guy is just he's just like crazy. Yeah. Also, she has no horns on them if they both are floating. But it's like, what's her power? Yeah, now she's like horn control, of course, and I guess you can get bigger horn. It's similar to the feather power, then, right? He could control his. I mean, somewhat, but it's like worse. Because having wings and having to control the feathers is better. Yeah, because you can control the feathers and your wings. It's more. Well, here we go, though. It's gonna like. It's time for Iida, isn't it, right? Okay, new style? Nice. Going like through the ice here. This equals Momo, I guess. Well, you know. Yeah. Oh, like this kind of family. Oh, you're gonna use this power now. You're gonna use the new turbo power. Tuning my engine. Yeah, of course. It's gonna give you engine powers. We're gonna tune it. Yeah, we're gonna clock it so you can go faster. Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. It's a technique from our grandpa. Like everyone in our family does it. We all have the same quirk, man. Oh, yeah, there we go. You're old enough to, you know, get better engines. It's just like, you're not living car after all, so yeah, lowering the fuel take and going faster and so on, yeah. But I like how, I guess the mom has the same power too, right? They're like, yeah, he might be old enough now to like improve his engine. That's our family thing here. I like that, yeah. It's like grandpa discovered this technique how to improve his engine, his power, body engine. But yeah, it's like this is Grandpa's power, you know. I mean, you usually do, of course. It's called farming instead now. And there's too much time here. So do a quick review now, then do a long review later. Maybe. Let me do a review now. I can do a review part here. Yeah, fat gum. Jeez. But I don't know, the episode. No, I'll do a review now, but I don't think the episode. I don't know. I'm almost like, what would I talk about? Iida getting faster. Man, this whole season is kind of weird. It really is. The teacher part, I don't think it matters. Here we get the preview though. Preview. Oh yeah, so you can just, I guess, melt down into the ground there. The horn power is cute though. She's all like, yeah, yeah. And so it's a kind of weird Japanese English going for her. Yeah, that's like Tetsu versus Todoroki, right? But it really does feel like they should have. I think the simple thing to say is that it really feels that they should have been, every match should have been like one episode, right? I think that instead of maybe the Shinso part should have been longer because he's the main character now. But no, if it's a little bit like here, setting up this thing. Well, anyway, yeah, let's review it. Episode 95, My Academia. So, better than last week, I think. At least from the comments from the straight up recap, pacing, and so on, right? It's like the most important thing in any anime. The most important part of any anime. Right? No, but I think it's fair to say that immediately in the beginning of that episode, you do see a new scene, right? So, I'll talk about too much here in this review, but of course in the last episode, I think it was very clear. That episode, I mean, even in the storyline and the Momo Kendo was almost good, right? Like I said, that's a review. It was generally a good episode, right? The new stuff, but it had like ridiculous amount of recap and flashback and so on. This episode was better. So I just want to say first, it was better in that way, right? Disregarding the storyline or whatever, right? But it was just better at least from like a recap, filler pacing episode. This had recap before the opening, short, very short, and then I had a new scene, right? This in here. So it didn't have this like recap opening, longer recap. Yeah, I didn't do a double recap way, and so on. So that was at least there was like a, I don't know, 2-3 minute, 4 minute less of recap. But last day was crazy. Last day was like half the episode of the recap, like 7 minutes, and it was crazy much recap over flashbacks. And I guess to point out here, I suppose. When I say flashback, I mean, unnecessary flashback. I don't mean, here's a revealing backstory we have seen before. I mean flashback as in less flashback, last tournament arc, that kind of like a filler flashback. Not an actual like here's Iida's sad backstory. I mean like an actual. Filler flashbacks, right? That being said, though, even though as always, that being said, it's like they still had a little bit of this though, right? Which I feel it's like, come on, do you have to do this thing? So it's a new scene, I suppose, though, from another angle, right? When Endo is training to hard as a kid, but they showed this flashback twice. They had third to draw thinking about it, and then like 3 minutes later, Papa is thinking about it. So I'm just like, why are we doing this twice for? So it still has that issue where. I feel that this episode was better, as I said, than last week, but it definitely has that like filler recap flashback thing going on, right? Where it's like, why do I have the exact same flashback in the episode twice for? Like, you know what I mean? Even if it's a short, like half a minute flashback, that's still half a minute of 100% then filler, right? Because you don't need to show me the exact same flashback twice in the same episode. Just like neck to, like 2 minutes. Maybe more 5, but like, very briefly next to each other as well. So So it is what it is, right? Anyway, let's talk about the actual episode now. No, but I had to say that because I think last episode, what I liked, Kendo's character and Kendo and Momo and so on, I think that there was just so much, padding issues on that episode. It was so bad from a direction, padding, kind of, it felt like a filmed episode, right? And this episode here, while it's better, it still has maybe like 5 minutes you can cut, right? You can probably cut 5 minutes, right? Maybe not like 10 minutes, but you can cut like 5 minutes. So it's an ongoing issue, definitely. Anyway, so this episode is about Iida. Iida being turboing it up, which is a nice scene there. So it's like, but I like how general idea is like, well, you're a car. So Iida, they are living, combustion engine people. No electric vehicle here, no Tesla. They are like old school engines. And it's like, well, you can improve your speed by removing your mufflers and doing this stuff. So it feels like it's in one way it's like the easiest quirk thing. I mean, certainly it's painful. I said, it's like physically painful to do this thing for him, but at the same time, it's like, man, this is certainly a way, right, to to very easily, arguably, power up your quirk. It's like your family has this combustion engine quirk. And we can all improve our quirk by doing this thing. Or you can fix your engine, you can do this thing, right? And that improves then your max speed, your acceleration or whatever, right? And so on, right? Basically different engine stuff, right? Maybe your the tracking, your tiring and so on. Yeah, so it's like they're engine people. It's but it really feels somewhat too easy already, in my opinion, because he's like, oh, your grandpa invented this, right? And his bro is like, we all done this, mom can do it too. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't feel like a very unique hero thing. It is very much like you're talking about. It's very much in his brother and their grandpa and mommy and in their footsteps, where they always have the exact same quirk. They have the same kind of job, right? He's kind of following into his family's technique, right? In every sacred form. And I don't know. I mean, Iida is very, classic conservative Japanese, right? He's like following in his family's line of work. Has the same powers. He's like, this is a family power up. So I don't know. It fits Iida definitely. It'd be like, well, I improved my powers by just doing what my mom did and my grandpa did. You know what I mean? And my brother did and so on. Yeah, my papa did. Like this improved. But I think it is mom probably. I think it is probably grandpa on the mother's side. I'm not sure, but I think they felt like. Because his brother was like, hey, Kazan, he's talking about, grandpa's powers, right? So I'm guessing that he got powers from mom. I don't think they ever explained that in Iida, but that scene to me felt like I suppose so, right? That the mom is also an Indian, right? And then it's her father, right? So, mother's father. Which one thing I dislike that with English and otherwise Japanese is the one, honestly, because one thing to be a language guy here, language elitist. But one thing actually in Swedish, we have morfar or farfar. So in Swedish, they don't have a name, they don't have a word for like grandpa. I mean, we have a word for grandpa, but I mean, it's not the same thing. They don't have like a generic. In Swedish, we don't have like a generic really name. We never use this for like your grandfather or your grandma. Instead in Swedish, we have like mormor or farmor and so on. So you always know if it's like your mother's father or your father's father, right, and so on. So you always know on what lineage the grandpa is, right? And the same thing with uncle and so on, and aunt in Swedish. It's also like farbror. That means like brother, like on the father's side. So in Swedish and other similar languages, we actually have like a very defined language way to speak about relatives. So you always know if it's the mother's parents or the other. But here in this anime. In Academia, I would think it makes sense if mom is the one having the engine lineage, right? And his father has. I don't think they ever mentioned his father, right? But I mean, I suppose though his father could have a similar power, though, right? They can both be, I guess, engine-driven powers. But still, you know what I mean. I think it makes sense that if mom is the one that he inherited the powers from, especially in this anime, if it's kind of important to be like, who's your lineage power up? Because they do, of course, get. Some usually the curse from the parents, like Todoroki's one, yeah. And in Todoroki's case, it's clearly the papa that's the fire guy. Yeah, that's pretty clear in his case. Like, who's the air fire guy, who's the ice guy? That's very clear. So So yeah, talking about Todoroki, you know, Evil Dad, and yeah, Endeavor has a scene too, of course. But I don't know. I felt this scene was kind of pointless, honestly. Honestly, it felt kind of pointless to me. It's a little bit, Endeavor is like worried about Todoroki. He's like a worried daddy now, or something like that. So I guess it gives somewhat context to him carrying by his son, I suppose. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. He's like, he defeats a random speed guy that's like a weaker power than Iida, saves some random kids, and they're like, this scene felt kind of at random. It's like, yeah, whatever. Like, here's like one page of Endeavor doing stuff or something. Yeah, it felt a little bit almost kind of fillery. And then they also added that flashback again, right? So it's like, yeah, here's like this thing happening, and then that's like resolved. I don't know. For me, again, I said during the next report, but the kid looked like Beak, right? The kid looked like Beak. That's the important thing. That was Beak, man. It's an X-Men. Get him up a Beak. Getting up here. It was like Beak, but less ugly, which is like this X-Men character. I can put him up on the screen here. So give me a second. You know, this is I didn't prepare for this. I didn't prepare for this. But yeah, I mean, he had the big face there. So we can, of course, it lags always. It always lags the first time I'm gonna drop a new image on a stream. Always, every time it happens. It's always like this. It's crazy. Or did I get in the wrong folder? Oh, come on. Classic. This reminds me of something I want to talk about here in the report. I think my image should explore that more, I guess. It would be good for me at least if they did that, but and why doesn't it work? Come on, sorry. Showing folder. I'm trying to get the image here on stream. It's awesome. It's like, here we go, maybe. But it's classic. Now I press the button, 10 times over, right? So it's gonna be too much. Here we go. So we have the Beak character, and he reminds me of, yeah, this guy then, Beak, which is like, so this name is Beak in, like straight up, yeah, his name is Beak in X-Men, and his power is to be a guy with a beak. So I want to talk about it a little briefly here, because Beak, I said during the next part, Beak is a very interesting character thing, because his power in X-Men then is like useless. He's like a guy that has somewhat of a bird body, but he can't fly. So this kid can understand him, he's like a kid with like, oh, I got like a bird face, but like, it's not like the other characters that has some powers, right? That has some kind of bird should fly, we had it earlier, right? With, the hawks and so on, yeah. But this guy seems like Beak. Like, oh, my face is a beak, and that is like, what can I do? I don't know. I have a big face, right? Because again, I think Beak is a very good character in X-Men because of the mutant, right? More mutant, bird face, and then it's like he joins the X-Men because of course he's get bullied and so on, right? And humans hate him because he looks all ugly. But his powers are completely useless. Like his powers are absolutely pointless, right? In an actual fight, right? So I think you should have more. I kind of want to see more of that. Deku started off with that, right? Deku started off with being instead, having no quirk, right? And we haven't seen anyone. I feel so much. Kirishima, Red Riot is probably, I think, the closest to that in his flashback. That his powers is kind of bad-ish, right? And he's a kid. But yeah, I guess Meteor. But the thing is that with Meteor is like, yes, his facing power is like, it wasn't that strong as a kid, right? When he could face. But knowing, again, with X-Men, Kitty Pryde, she has the same powers, right? So I'm just like, well, yeah, but I read X-Men, and Kitty Pryde's a pretty badass X-Men. She has like a really good power in X-Men. So when you see his facing, you're like, that can probably be really OP, though. Given that, it's the same powers, right, basically. So you're like, nah, I don't believe the powers are weak. But yeah, we don't have anyone. Shinso, I suppose, is this close thing now then. Not really, but I mean, he has the evil power instead. So that's again why I like Shinso, right? Because Shinso has that, he's the evil quirk power. But there's no one right now, I think, listen to the hero squad that has like a bad power, right? It's like this power is useless, but you still have maybe Navy Laser? Is he the closest one to that? Having a power that's like, it's kind of, oh, I hurt my stomach kind of thing, or is it like a fake belt thing? Yeah, maybe. But no one, I guess, otherwise is really having a power that is like kind of pointless, but they still manage to be a hero anyway. That power, I mean, maybe Sensei Night-Eye. His powers were like he could like see in the future. Wasn't very good for fighting people, I suppose. He was more like he had like a very interesting fighting style. Bubble Girl, I suppose, he wasn't very powerful though. She was very hot though. But no, but I mean, something like this. The big character could be an interesting character. I feel the anime needs more of this. Like he's a guy with like a really useless quirk. He still must be a hero somehow, right? Even though he is like useless power up kind of thing. But I guess that is kind of what Deku's going for in the beginning. Then he gets the best power, so kind of goes away from that. That's, I guess, with Deku's sense, he goes away from that. But again, looking at the B character, it reminds me, because I think B is a very well-written character in X-Men, it reminds me of the same way I like Shinso, right? Because Shinso, again, then has this, instead of having, obviously, not a bad power, but has the evil power. So I like that concept more, I think, with the character has, because everyone, of course, in this anime, even Deku now has a power, right? And it's interesting, I think, to explore these powers that are kind of useless, right? Like, what can this power do, actually? Because I think one idea that I like thinking about as a post, or discussion, I suppose, we have with friends and so on, right? When we are drinking or whatever, right? Like I was 2 times a hangover. Is that I think that's a concept, talking to people, first of all, is that you're like, wow, it would be awesome to live in academia where everyone has powers, where everyone has quirks, or living like House of M in X-Men, everyone has power, everyone's mutant and so on. It would be amazing. But I think in reality, if everyone had powers, right, like in academia, most people probably would get this power. Where you're like, oh, you're like a bird guy, but you can't fly. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Like, you know what I mean? I think most people will end up with like, oh, you're like a bird guy. Oh yeah, what can you do? Oh, you can't fly at all. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? I think that would be an interesting, probably a conundrum, right? If you actually lived in this world. Most people probably be, not only wouldn't be heroes, like Macadamia and so on, talking about earlier, right, with the cops and so on, but no, there would be like really bad powers. It would be like, this power is only a disadvantage. It doesn't do anything, it just makes you look weird. It's like, yeah, great. That's awesome. Well, at least, I guess there's one huge issue though. Difference, I suppose, in this anime and X-Men. And that, of course, is that this beak guy, I'm just calling him beak, yeah, this beak guy, he's probably not being bullied because he has a beak, right? Because there's like everyone has some weird powers, so he's like whatever, he fits into the Macadamia world, right? Where of course in X-Men, being in our world, but like lesser, percentage or mutants, right? Like 10%, whatever. Of course, being like a beaky guy then is much worse, right? Because you look different than everyone else and so on. Yeah, so I suppose that's a big difference though. This kid probably doesn't get bullied for having a beak guy. His quirk is probably pointless, but he probably doesn't get bullied for having the actual appearance of a bird, right? So that's probably a big difference here. But otherwise, lots of cute seeing Horn Girl. Melt guy I like how he's both like flexible and he has flexible powers. He's like, I'm a flexible guy, but yeah, and she's like, I'm the Horn Girl, and she speaks and it's like weird. We've seen her earlier, but she's like the first time to get some lines. And she speaks in this like English Japanese thing, yeah, it's like a weird Japanese. And when she goes angry, she was like speaking only in English. And then of course you also Flex guy is like, oh, I can speak English too. But I mean, I think she also looks like a dragon, Kobayashi dragon made, right? Yeah, with her eyes and the body and so on. But the powers are like controllable horns, very similar to the feather power, yeah, and having like controlling the feathers. This looks way worse, in my opinion. Seems like a way weaker, like straight up seems like a much weaker version than the feather power, right? Because the feather power is like you have feather wings, so you can fly, you can like, you can go to the sky, you can also control these feathers, and then you have a lot of feathers, but I guess you can have more horns, supposedly. But her power is like, I have X number of horns, right, I can control. It really seems like I use a straight up worse version than feathers, because even if she's like, I don't know, can have more than 4, 5, 6, 10 horns, right? I can have 20 horns when I'm a grown up. You can also have more feathers. You can have bigger wings, right? So it doesn't seem to be that kind of limitation of growing up in your power scale doesn't really seem, much better than just having the feather power and having like more feathers. So I don't know. Maybe we should make her horns bigger than it. But yeah, probably we saw her not flying, but she should be able to fly then. Use the good old horns, right? I guess, because she can like boost her teammates. She can probably stand on her own horn, right? Kind of like Magneto in X-Men, kind of stand on her horn and fly by that. So she should be able to fly by using her own horns, definitely. I would say so, being able to like lift herself, right, with the horns. But it seems again like just I think it straight up looks like a way worse version than having the feather control. It's like there seems to be no advantage having this power versus the mighty of the Hawk's feather thing. This is basically like 10 times better. Like this seems to have absolutely no other purpose because it was exactly the same. Her horns flies around and she can take up people and so on, right? Use what the feathers could do. But he has like 50 feathers. So she has like or he has more, like 100 feathers, right? And she has like 4 horns. So it's like an incredibly weaker version. It's like 50 times weaker than his version. It's like, and she can't fly unless he has to put the horn under her, right? So it's like, yeah, that's... And she can't really hit with them. So it's like super worse version than feather powers. Maybe there's some kind of growth to her, but I don't see it. I mean, I don't know. Making the horns bigger, maybe? Yeah, like more horns. Maybe they can drill. It seems like, I don't know. Her power seems kind of bad, honestly. She's got a bad power. And, making things melt is kind of cute. It's like I'm turning your ice into snow. Well, anyway, that kind of review, guys. Of course, today's Saturday. Subscribe and so on. Kind of lots of animes coming up today. I should briefly say here then that I think the episode was. I don't know. I said one brief thing here, but I'm like, what is this episode here? What is that doing? I think the episode was better from a directional standpoint. It's better. It's less flashback and so on. But the actual fight in the storyline is weaker. I think the Iida brother thing is like, we've been there, Iida. There's no character development. It's just like, doing my Nishan thing again. So he hasn't changed at all. He's like conservative character protocol still. And there's less drama, right? Kendo and Momo was kind of like a girl rivalry thing. I'm the hottest girl rival model thing. And I was like, it doesn't feel like anyone actually cares about this fight at all. It really feels like the lowest stake so far, right? And I said earlier that I felt that the Shinso fight has stakes on it. May really join the class, right? But after that, you really feel that the stake is going down. And this fight has even lesser stake. I feel it's like no drama or tension between the characters, right? So there's like, yeah, they're fighting, and does anyone care who wins? I don't, honestly. So I think that's a problem here. The episode is better directed, I think, than last week. But it's a really uninteresting matchup, like from a drama perception. It's cool learning their powers though. They haven't seen their horn power before and so on, even in parts of Peter. But at the same time, it does feel to me like, wow, I really don't care who wins it at all. I like zero interest who wins this fight. I think that's a big problem here. That is like, I don't care, because I mean, there's like no drama, right? There's no relationship drama. No one matters if they win or not. There's no class upgrade. There's no scouts to pick them up, to make them heroes, right? So it doesn't matter who wins in that sense. And then there's not even a rivalry. I mean, last week we just had like, here's the two model girls, they're gonna fight, right? Who's the, I got one on revenge, Momo Kendo thing. At least there was some tension there. Then you had, Shadow, right? So some kind of similar power scale. But now it's like, here's Horn Girl, she's like a nice Horn Girl, Melder guy, spinning guy, he can probably spinning guy, he can spin stuff, yeah, that guy, and then it's like, they have like zero issues with all the characters, which is good, because it makes sense that everyone would be enemies, but it's like, okay, they're gonna fight, and why should we care about that anymore? I mean, I feel generally, like, why do I care who wins or loses this fight? Like, do you guys do that? I don't think anyone does, right? So I think that's a problem in the storyline itself. Though. Like yeah, I don't really care at all in that sense. I mean, I like My Academia, but the episode does. I mean, I always does filler, but it has that kind of filler feel to it, because you feel like this doesn't matter. They're getting their powers, but I don't care who wins. It's like. But it's been like an episode where they talk about their powers and go on. Yeah, I don't know. But it's a weird feeling to it, because definitely I feel the stake is going down. Right? Like episode 1, biggest stake, Shinso. And then it's like going down. I guess it's going to go up again when it's going to be Shinso versus Deku probably in the end, right? But right now we're in a downhill, I feel, because it's like, what's happening here in the bottom? It's like... but I see you today with, of course, Vivi. Man, Vivi and Nagatoro. Tokyo Revengers and Shadow House and One Piece, and yeah, Saturday.